Hello everyone, it is Thursday, but not really because I'm recording this on Tuesday, and that right there is the power of lying. Now today's topic is something I think most of us can relate to, at least those of us who've given it a little bit of thought. But it comes in the form of a question that I'm going to ask to you. What are your dream games that you wish could be made or wish you could make? Now I've often thought about this, whether it be playing other games or trying to think up cool ideas. And I tend to get a little ahead of myself, like, yeah, I could be a games designer. I've got all the ideas, all the potential, there's nothing standing in my way, nothing I need to learn. I hate computers. But even though the natural way of the universe is stacked against me because I have no programming skills whatsoever, I can still dwell on these ideas. There's nothing wrong with fantasizing about the idea of making the best game ever. So I'm going to list a few concepts I've come up with and maybe ask you about a few you've had. So this first one isn't exactly a game per se, as it is an expansion of an existing one. But I came up with an idea for a Left 4 Dead multiplayer mode. When one team obviously plays as the survivors from the first person perspective, and one opponent plays against them as the infected from a real-time strategy position. They could watch the survivors move through the map and position certain zombies to come out at certain points, and every bit of damage they did on the survivors they could spend on either hordes or special infected. It would just be an interesting way to put a player behind what seems to be the AI. Okay, so another idea I've had is that I really want to see a Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. With the story being absolutely filled with trivial combat, you'd think it would work really well in that medium. Plus it's appeared in TV, films and comic books. Why not games now? They can incorporate a really interesting combat system, kind of similar to those in the Batman Arkham Asylum games. A fighting system that's really intricate but streamlined, where you have to lower a vampire's health before you finally press the stake button. I can imagine that being so satisfying. Plus there could be an open map of Sunnydale that the player has to run around and protect on patrol. I reckon players would love that. And there could be DLC where you play as Angel and it's not quite as good. So in terms of original ideas, I'll admit some of my concepts are a little artsy-fartsy. I kinda like the thought of a game where your sole objective is to die in a certain situation to set off a course of events. And each level would be a different situation corresponding to different events. But I guess that would be hard to do because there's not much actively involved in dying, except, you know. I'm also really amazed that there's never been a high production value MMO for a zombie game. At least not that I know of. But it sounds so cool just filling a virtual city with players and then releasing a few zombies into the map and just sitting back and seeing what happens. Rounds could go on for days, even weeks, and one person would come out on top. So many of these ideas, to me, seem like things that players would love. But that only goes to show that they'd just be really difficult to do. Hell, why don't they already exist? Because making games is hard. That's the sad truth. Shoving aside that boring negativity, I want to hear your ideas. What games do you really wish were made? Or more importantly, if you had the power to do so, what games would you make? Just leave your answers below. So anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.